Yo guys, today we're gonna take a look at the 5-star pyro DPS and the 4th Fatui Harbinger Arlecchino. She's a polearm user and she is also the current director of the House of Hearths. This guide lets you know about how she works, best artifacts, weapons, constellations, team comms and much more. Starting with the talent section, her normal attack invitation to beheading. Arlecchino executes up to 6 consecutive strikes and her plunging attack functions akin to a standard plunge. Pressing and holding the attack button depletes stamina as Arlecchino swiftly dashes towards a nearby foe, delivering a single cleave. Continuously holding the button triggers Arlecchino to engage in high-speed movement for up to 3 seconds. Furthermore, when Arlecchino's bond of life reaches or exceeds 20% of her maximum HP, she activates the Mask of the Red Death state. During this stage, her normal, charge and plunging attacks convert to pyro damage, which cannot be altered. While in the Mask of Red Death state, Arlecchino inflicts additional damage with her normal attacks or striking opponents. This bonus damage scales with her attack power multiplied by a specific ratio of her current bond of life percentage. Each strike consumes 6.5% of her current bond of life, and this consumption can occur every 0.05 seconds. When her bond of life is used in this manner, the cooldown of All in Ash decreases by 0.8 seconds. And her elemental skill, All in Ash, Arlecchino conjures Bale Moon Bloodfire, inflicting a pyro damage upon multiple nearby opponents, and executing a dash cleave against one of them, causing AoE pyro damage. Those struck by this attack will be subjected to a Blood Depth Directive. Effects of the Blood Depth Directive are, it endures for 13 seconds, delivering 1 instance of pyro damage to the affected opponent every 5 seconds, for a maximum of 2 instances. This damage is classified as elemental skill damage. Upon Arlecchino executing a charge attack or utilizing Bale Moon Rising, she observes and removes nearby Blood Depth Directives. Each directive observed bestows upon her a bond of life equivalent to 40% of her maximum HP. The maximum bond of life value she can receive from Blood Depth Directives within 35 seconds after activating her elemental skill is 80% of her max HP. Reusing the elemental skill during the time frame resets both the duration count and the limit on the value of bond of life she can acquire from Blood Depth Directives. And her elemental burst, Bale Moon Rising, Arlecchino's magnificent wings of Bale Moon Bloodfire beat, inflicting AoE pyro damage and resetting the cooldown of All in Ash while also restoring Arlecchino's health. The amount healed is determined by her bond of life and attack stat. And her passive 1, while engaged in a combat, Arlecchino receives a 40% increase in pyro damage and can solely be healed through her burst. And her passive 2, Blood Depth Directives exhibit the following traits. When vanquishing an adversary with a directive, Arlecchino obtains a life bond equal to 130% of her maximum HP. 5 seconds after a directive is applied, it will be upgraded to a Blood Depth Dew. Upon observation, they provide Arlecchino with a life bond equal to 130% of her maximum HP. Life bonds acquired via these means cannot surpass the original limit set by All in Ash. And her passive 3, Strength alone can defend. Arlecchino gains a 1% boost in all element and physical resistance for every 100 points for attack exceeding 1000, up to a maximum increase of 20% for each resistance type. Moving forward to Constellation section, his C1, when the normal attack Mask of the Red Death hits an enemy, it has a 33% chance of not consuming Arlecchino's bond of life, instead granting a bond of life worth 5% of her maximum health. And a C2, Blood Depth Directive's debuff is now level 2 when first applied. When Arlecchino observes a level 3 directive, she will unleash a flare of Bale Moon Bloodfire, dealing 900% of her attack as AoE pyro damage. This effect can trigger once every 10 seconds. However, the passive talent Agony alone may be repaid, must be unlocked. And the C3 increases his normal attack level by 3. And to C4, the value of the bond of life granted by Bale Moon Rising is increased to 25% of her maximum health. And when she hits an opponent with the Blood Depth Directive applied to them, she will increase the directive's level by 1. You must first unlock the passive talent Agony alone may be repaid. Additionally, when successfully observing a directive, Bale Moon Rising's cooldown will be reduced by 2 seconds, and Arlecchino will have 15 energy restored to her. This effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. And a C5 increases her elemental burst level by 3. And to C6, the damage of All in Ash dash cleave is increased by Arlecchino's attack multiplied by 500% of Arlecchino's current life bond percentage. For 20 seconds after Arlecchino uses All in Ash, Both her normal attack and elemental burst gain a 10% increased crit rate and 70% increased crit damage. This effect can be triggered up to once every 15 seconds. Moving on to her artifact sets, the Fragment of Harmonic Whimsy set will be the main choice for Arlecchino, since its 4-piece bonus can be triggered by the Bond of Life effect. This is a new mechanic that observes healing for the character affected by Bond of Life and provides different types of buffs. It gives an 18% attack boost and another 18% damage increase for 6 seconds when the Bond of Life value on her changes. Maximum of 3 stacks. Arlecchino can easily get 54% damage boost because she has Bond of Life in her kit, and it boosts attack with 2-piece set enabling higher damage. And our another option is Gladiator's Finale, as the 2-piece set gives a powerful boost on attack and the 4-piece set would strengthen any sword, claymore or polearm wielder's normal attack by a significant amount. This set also drops from all the available world bosses, making it easy to farm. And Crimson Witch of Flames is also an amazing choice on melt and vaporize focused team comps, and it also increases pyro reaction damage. And for our artifact stats, you can go for attack on sands and pyro damage on goblet and crit circlet. And for secondary stats, you can go for the stats which are shown on the screen. Moving on to her weapon section, her best on slot is Crimson Moon Semblance, which is her signature weapon. It works better than any other options. It grants a Bond of Life equal to 25% of max HP when a charge attack hits an opponent. This effect can be triggered up to once every 14 seconds. And a second best option is Primordial Jadewing Spear, which increases crit rate and attack greatly, and slightly increases damage bonus as well while at max stacks. It is a great weapon option but requires time to maximize damage. And our next best weapon is Staff of Oma. It greatly increases crit damage and increases HP for more survivability, and to maximize attack buff, you need to keep a low HP, making Arlecchino vulnerable. And our next weapon is Staff of Scarlet Sands. It boosts crit rate of Arlecchino. It has a low base attack compared to other 5-star weapons but increases the value of Elemental Mastery. And it is an amazing weapon for Vaporize team comps. And her next weapon is Vortex Vanquisher. It greatly increases attack of Arlecchino for better damage, and it requires a shielder to use and maximize power. And the next weapon is Deathmatch. Deathmatch can be obtained from the Battle Pass if you really think worth pulling. It greatly increases crit rate of Arlecchino, and the given attack buff is dependent on the number of enemies. And the next is a 4-star F2P weapon, Blackcliff Pole, which can be obtained from the shop in exchange for Star Glitter. It is a decent stat stake for Arlecchino because of crit and attack buff. And the next one is a 3-star weapon, White Tassel, which greatly increases normal attack damage and crit rate. It is easy to refine because of its low rarity. Very low base attack requires you to have Pyro Resonance or Bennett to balance. And there is also other 4-star options like Ballad of F-Jorts, Lithic Spear, Dragon's Bane, which can also be good. Moving to our team comps, our first team is a Vaporize team, which involves Arlecchino, Ellen, Zhongli and Bennett. Zhongli's shield can provide your team some protection and ensure that Arlecchino can attack without getting interrupted, while Ellen and Bennett support Arlecchino's damage. Arlecchino's wave team is normally composed of an Hydro of Deal DPS like Ellen and supports. For comfort, shielders are amazing, but you can also opt for Animo, Vedison Venerer user for debuffs like Kazuha for more damage. And as a substitute for Ellen, you can use Shinsho, Farina or Candace. Shinsho is a defensive option, while Farina can provide more buff and damage but requires placing an AoE healer in her team. Candace is great at AoE situations when Candace is at max Constellations. Replacing Bennett would lead to a huge damage loss. If your Bennett is occupied, you can use Genshin. And as a substitute for Zhongli, you can also use Layla or Kazuha. Layla is a great option for powerful shields. It does not disturb vaporized reactions often because the Hydro Aura does not get removed when triggering freeze. And her next team is Cheverus Overload team, which involves Arlecchino, Cheverus, Fischl and Beidou. Overload Arlecchino team comp is mainly composed of Pyro or Electro supports with Cheverus, while it gives you freedom of movement in game. To activate the passive of Cheverus, the team is only limited to Pyro and Electro characters. Raiden Shogun can be also used as a substitute for Fischl. An off-field Electro works great in this team comp. Characters with low on-field turn is recommended. And as a substitute for Beidou, you can use Toma, which is also a decent shielder at this team comp. Shanyan has weaker shields but does not rely on elemental bursts for shields. And Yanfei can also be used as a shielder at higher constellations. And Chevress is what makes this team work, so it is difficult to replace her. And her next team is a monopyro team which involves Arlecchino, Xiangling, Kazuha and Bennett. Monopyro teams only uses swirl and stat boost to increase damage. This team is very reliant to Bennett and Kazuha. This is a monopyro team for Arlecchino where Kazuha or Sucrose can be used to crowd control. Bennett is important in this team over a shielder like Zhongli to maximize on the pyro damage. Other than that, Xiangling is always a solid choice for off-field pyro damage. And as a substitute for Xiangling, you can use Toma and Dea, which are defensive options that deals additional damage, and they work great as Xiangling replacement but produce less damage. And for Kazuha, you can use Lynette, which produces more damage but has less buffs than Kazuha. And Sucrose at C6 can produce bonus damage. And as a substitute for Bennett, you can use Yanfei with Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer at Refinement 5, which provide powerful attack buffs. At C4, she can also provide shields. And that's all I've got. Share your thoughts about this video on Arlecchino in the comment section. Likes and subs are really appreciated.
Solidify! Let's move.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Order guide you.
Here comes the catch. Transfixed. Everlasting as the moon.
This was well done. You're close.
Busted.
Roast and fry. Stabilize. You need to hurry up. This was well done.
Gotcha.
An unfortunate fault.